Hello. Okay, I'm really happy to see the people that stayed after we told you what this workshop is about. And I know that there's a few people that have just walked in, so I just want to also tell you again what this workshop is about. So, this workshop will not at all be talking about research and outcomes of research or give you a lot of content. It's actually about us sharing some of our design thinking processes and tools, teaching you a little bit about how to use them. You're going to practice them. And then it is a co-creation workshop at the end of the day. So as you may have heard, we have signed that definitive agreement to acquire VLEX, that legal research library that is superpowered by AI. And so we're looking to collaborate with you on imagining what could this be. We have this version of Clio work that's coming out. If you've demoed it, super exciting, but we think it can also do more. So we're looking for you to help share ideas on what you think it could do and how it could solve pain points for you. So if there's other sessions you want to attend, this doesn't sound fun to you, feel free to go to those ones. Otherwise, everyone that's here, we're super excited to have you here. Thank you, as always, to all of our partners that help make this event possible. And I didn't introduce myself yet, but I'm Stevie. I am a senior product design manager here at Clio. I'm responsible for the design experience of Clio work and have also recently taken on the documents portfolio. So if you have documents or draft or DMS feedback, I want to hear it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Homer Ong. I am the head of product research here at Clio, and I am based in the Bay Area.
Awesome.
So today, as Stevie mentioned, we're going to do a high-level overview of how we approach design here at Clio. Then we'll launch into two activities where we'll teach you two design tools. One being journey mapping, which is a way to outline the experience that users go through as they accomplish their tasks and goals. And the second is Crazy Eights, which is a rapid brainstorming tool that helps proliferate a number of ideas and lower inhibitions. And then at the end, we'll have some of y'all pitch your ideas to the large group, and then we'll wrap up. So again, if that does not seem like your jam, there's still a few more minutes to make it to another session, but hopefully if you're here, you're ready to come brainstorm with us.
And this is going to go by really, really fast. We will literally have timers on. You have 30 seconds, a minute to do something. And it's going to feel fast because it's also something that we usually do over several days, but we're going to jam it in and try to teach you about it in an hour.
Yeah. And one thing to note, again, to Stevie's point, today should feel different, right? We hope that it is a departure from business as usual, right? We want today to feel fast-paced and fun, right? This isn't about rigor. This is about stepping outside our comfort zones, pushing ourselves and kind of just going with the flow. It should also be visual and tactile. So this isn't about text. I know at law firms, we dig into text all the time. Today, we want to get visual and exercise a different part of our brains. And third, we want today to feel creative and interactive. This isn't just about feedback. This is about applying our collective brainstorming and problem-solving skills together.
Okay, let's get into it. We're going to use design, and design is there to help us solve problems. So who is familiar with this type of model? Has anyone seen this double diamond model before? Oh, I love that. So this is the high-level overview of the design process. We have to think about designing the right thing first and then designing that thing right. And so we often start in the space of discovery. You're very familiar with that. That's understanding what are all the possible things, what is this context and the domain of the problem that I'm trying to solve, and I'm going to learn everything I can about it. So you're diverging in understanding. And then as you begin to narrow in, you converge and begin to define what is the area of the problem that I actually want to, or what area of this problem do I really want to make a big impact in? Where do I want to focus my energy and my resources? So once you've defined the area you want to work within, now you're going to develop possible solutions to that problem. You're going to diverge and create as many solutions as possible. That's you kind of exploring multiple arguments before you say, okay, you're going to further converge again and say, this is the right argument I'm going to go down. I have the most evidence to support this argument. So we do the exact same thing in design, and this process repeats in a very messy fashion until we get to the end and have delivered that product or that feature.
We also apply a series of different mindsets. The first being empathy. We want to deeply understand the people that we're designing for. We want to learn from all of you the real situations and contexts that you go through so that we can design into your lives and into your workflows and minimize the amount that you have to adapt to our products. At the end of the day, we want to be customer-centric in the way that we solve problems.
And that creativity is really important. That's that exploration, that opening it up. How do you apply different ways of thinking about something in a new way that maybe someone else isn't thinking about it? How do you collaborate to really enable more creativity?
And the third mindset is tangibility. At any given company, whether it's Clio, a law firm, or other companies, it's really easy to be abstract, but sometimes the devil is in the details, right? So, when Apple launched the Apple Store, every analyst on Wall Street thought it was a terrible idea based on the analysis of the market at the time, based on competitors. But it was really the ways that Apple wanted to stand out that really led them to the highest sales per square foot in the world, and led to copycats from competitors like Microsoft and Google. So today we want to get tangible and really home in on how we want our ideas to stand out. So that was just a quick overview, but we're going to be applying all of that divergence, that convergence, the empathy, creativity, and tangibility to today's prompt. How might we make legal research both more collaborative and more efficient? And one thing to note about these two things, collaborative and efficient things, is that sometimes as collaboration goes up, efficiency goes down and vice versa. So it'll be a healthy tension for us to keep in mind. All right, the first thing we are going to learn about, as I mentioned earlier, is journey mapping. And journey mapping is a visual story of a customer's steps, feelings, and pain points as they pursue a goal. And it is a map, literally, that helps us identify ways to improve the experience. And so why is it important? Well, it's important because it helps us see the experience from the customer's perspective across a variety of tools and technologies, not just Clio's. And based on that, we can identify pain points, sometimes bright spots, and interesting opportunities that'll help us create better products and experiences that fill gaps and better meet needs. And you can think about this a little bit in terms of the client experience. If you mapped out your client journey, where are ways to improve that experience for your clients? So how do we build a journey map? Here is an example from marketing. First, we map out the broader steps and activities. And overall, when possible, it's best to frame each of these in terms of the outcome or the goal that you're trying to achieve. Next, it's good to get a good broad strokes idea of how you feel during these steps. This is what we're calling an emotional curve. So where are your emotional low points, where you feel super stressed or where you're frustrated? And where are your high points, where you feel deep satisfaction or relief? And it's kind of good to get a baseline of above which you feel generally happy and content, and below which you feel pretty unhappy and discontent. Third, there are a ton of things that we could actually map against a journey map. Today, we'll be focusing on pain points. These are the moments that you find particularly challenging or frustrating, right? So is it because that activity is particularly difficult to do? Is it that there are too many cooks in the kitchen? Is it that a particular tool is very difficult or doesn't really meet your needs? And if that's the case and it's Clio, please let us know. You won't hurt our feelings. We're always trying to improve our products for you. Essentially, we want to get a feeling for the problem areas that we want to apply our collective problem-solving skills against. And last, based on those pain points, we want to identify the opportunity areas to make your journey and experience better. And so here is an example of what one complete journey map looks like. This is on a gigantic whiteboard. You'll be doing it at a much smaller scale, but you can see all the different things, right? The steps and activities, the pain points, the emotional curve, as well as opportunities. So let's talk about opportunities for a moment. What is an opportunity? Sometimes in the design world, we frame opportunities as how might we statements, like how might we empower legal professionals to quickly find relevant precedents and use cases in the case law? Or how might we enable law firms to showcase their expertise to attract new clients? Or gain real-time operational insights to help them run their law firms more effectively? Here are a few tips. Frame your how might we's in an open-ended and inviting way. So instead of saying, people are frustrated, how might we reduce frustration? Let's try to avoid being too solution-oriented at this stage, like prescribing an app specifically, and focus more on the problem at hand. Like, how might we make it easier to schedule appointments? When possible, frame the prompt in a way that inspires ideation and optimism. As Stevie was mentioning, we want to diverge and get to a great number of ideas at one point or another. So not how might we stop people from getting lost, but perhaps how might we help users navigate more confidently? And last, this one's a little bit tricky, but we want to right-size your how might we's, right? If it's too broad, like how might we make life better, the solution could be anything. And if it is too narrow, like how might we add a quick access button, it won't inspire creativity. So to recap, be open-ended and inviting, focus on problems, not specific solutions, inspire ideas and optimism, and right-size the opportunity. And as Stevie mentioned, the activity is going to go really, really fast, so don't worry about getting it perfect. These are just some tips to keep in mind to help you along. All right, so just as a reminder, today's prompt is going to be focusing on legal research. How might we make legal research both more collaborative and more efficient? We're going to launch into the activity now. You're going to have 15 minutes in teams of 2 to 3. Find people next to you. You're going to map out that journey like we talked about, outline the steps and activities, draw that emotional curve, identify pain points. Then you're going to take some of those pain points and start to frame how might we opportunities and statements. And then before the time is up, we'd like you to identify one, maybe 2 or 3, but really one that you want to take into the next round where we'll be brainstorming. Sound good? Does anybody have any questions? We will be floating around during the activity to help anybody and just check up on all of you. But sound good? Yep. How might we make legal research both more collaborative and more efficient? I'll also put the journey map example back up so that you can kind of see. There are Post-it notes, papers, pens, Sharpies on all of your tables. We recommend using the Post-it notes just so that as you make changes, you can easily move them around. But do whatever you're most comfortable with. Any other questions? All right, 15 minutes.
All right. I had so much fun chatting with this side of the room. I hope everyone had fun talking about what those journeys look like. What we're going to do next is going to go by even faster. So everyone grab a blank sheet of paper.
A fresh one. And everyone grab one for yourself.
Okay. So what we're going to do next is move into, so what you've done in terms of the double diamond, you've explored your you kind of diverged, you've converged because you've narrowed it down to a how might we, that's the problem that you're going to further explore. And now we're going to open up the diamond again because we're going to try to ideate as much as possible. So this is a very quick sketching exercise. So I'm going to be a kindergarten teacher for a moment, and you're going to hot dog your paper.
Hot dog.
Hot dog. And then you are going to hamburger it. And then you're going to hamburger it again. And you don't have to be precious. It doesn't have to be perfect squares. Because now you have your storyboard, and you've got 8 squares. So that's the name of this exercise, Crazy Eights, because it's crazy because it's fast. And so why do we do it this way? Why do we need 8? Because you're going to get 1 minute to draw an idea visually per square. It's going to take 8 minutes to do this exercise. Why do we do 8? Because that's how, when you fold the paper, it makes nice, nice proportions. But the reason we do this is because we're trying to get quantity. It's not about quality. So if you think about that like blank page problem when you're staring at it and you're trying to write the perfect sentence, the perfect like opening sentence, it's very, very hard because you're already preemptively cutting down your ideas in your head. What this allows you to do is get those bad ideas out. You want as many ideas as possible because that allows you to dump them all out. And then by the time you get to like your 4th and 5th, their ideas will start coming more slowly, but those will tend to be higher quality. But you're not prejudging yourself. The point is, we're going to go through it quickly. Okay, like I said, we're going to be sketching. You're going to get this really tangible, really visual. Stick figures, basic geometric shapes, super all welcome. The point is to make it really concrete. Try to avoid using words. So I don't want to see 8 squares of words because you're going to try to communicate visually and really challenge your brain. If you need to use words, just don't get stuck. And then after we do all 8, and we're going to count you down for each one, you'll have some time to share your best idea with your partner or your group. And then together as a group, you will do one storyboard. So you'll get a fresh blank piece of paper. You'll give it a title. This is where you're now allowed to use words. You're going to give it a description. You're going to give it a little drawing. And then you're going to annotate it if your scribbles don't make sense. That's it. So everyone's got their piece of paper. Yep. Everyone's got a Sharpie uncapped. Get
Everyone
a
have-
Sharpie in your hand.
Does everyone have a how might we that they're going to brainstorm against? The prompt was one of the ones from your last round.
So yeah, in your last round, you had 1 or 2 how might we's, and that was, again, that came from identifying the pain point. You remember when you did the emotional curve? Those pain points, and you identified a pain point that you wanted to address, and you wrote a how might we. Now that how might we is now going to be your inspiration to try to sketch solutions. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So one opportunity from the last round will be the prompt for the Crazy 8 ideation. Cool? Again, we'll...
Yes. What's a suggestion that we could have? Okay, if I'm going to get very, very narrow and say, how might we make it easier for people to reshare relevant case law for a particular practice area? Is that helpful at all? No?
One other alternative, I know there's some project managers in the room. How might we actually reduce the effort to send client updates on the regular? Right? When you're juggling 100 cases and trying to send updates to 100 different clients, it can be really crazy. Okay? And again, we'll walk around if you need any more help. Are we all ready? Okay. All right. I'm going to start the timer, and it'll be a minute per square. And go. And time. If you can hear my voice, raise your hand. If you can hear my voice, raise your hand. All right, let's bring it back to center, everyone. It is time to pitch your ideas. So what we're going to do, we have a pretty large group, so we won't be able to get through everyone, but 2 to 3 teams will pitch. You'll talk about the pain point that you were solving, what the solution is and how it's helpful, and again, thinking about ways you want to stand out, like what makes it unique. You'll get 2 minutes max, and if you go over, we will start clapping you off the metaphorical stage. You'll just present from wherever you are. We'll run a mic to you, but we will start clapping very loudly if you go over 2 minutes. Cool? Which group wants to share first? I will call on a group if no one volunteers. How about the group in the back? I know y'all were really confident in all the solutions that you had, so let's go over there. Y'all said you were killing it, so we want to hear those ideas.
You're really hyping them up there, Homer.
I know. Well, they were hyping me up too when they were talking about them, so.
Hello, everyone. We have an amazing idea because legal research typically is done in private, in isolation, in silos. Nobody shares. Nobody wants to have their brilliant research taken by someone else. And so we were brainstorming, well, what is it out there? What's the best example of sharing that we could find? So we started thinking about gaming and Xbox and how kids that are using games, they'll make friends with someone in another country, don't even speak the same language, they're getting together building some magnificent building, or they're fighting off aliens, and they're doing that without any sort of filters. So we thought, well, why don't we introduce that into the area of legal research? So we came up with the idea of an Xbox research tool.
All
This is the idea. I want credit for it. It was my idea. They just agreed with it.
Yeah, trademark attorneys in
Get
the
that
room.
patent? Awesome. Round of applause. Xbox for legal research. All right. I know the two of you back there may not have solutions, but there was something that you wanted to share, right? About emotional curves. Was there an interesting learning that you wanted to share with the large group?
Yeah, I'm not sure this is relevant at all, but if anybody's interested, yeah, I was just talking to Brian and we were talking about leadership within law firms. And I just said to him something that a coach said to me, that the limit of the growth within your law firm is the limit of the growth of you as a leader of that firm. It's all about personal growth. And Brian thought that was useful and suggested I share it. So there you go. Hope it's helpful for somebody else.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
All right.
I want to hear from these two over here because
Okay.
there were some heated conversations happening.
We had different paths. I don't know. Do you what? Okay. Well, and I don't do any legal research because I'm transactional, and so I thought about some other issues. But for me, the exercise was really exciting because there was something in the process that I have been thinking about lately as an issue that needs to be addressed, and the light bulb went off just by doing this exercise.
Fantastic.
Which was is kind of ironic because it's a little bit opposite of what you just said, which is that, not opposite, but it was that, and maybe actually it is growth, is that asking others to help solve the issue rather than me trying to figure it out, or at least to get the input, right? Like to get as many, and that was the collaborative of getting the whole group, every level, whether paralegal, attorney, whatever, partner of trying to brainstorm how to solve the issue, and who knows where it leads, but
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah, sometimes we actually do journey maps collaboratively with different roles. So we can get every perspective and have deep empathy for one another. So that's a really great point.
So I take process-oriented approaches to pretty much everything in my life, and the law firms are different. And in the legal research pain points that I have is getting people to follow all the steps of legal research to understand the problem, so they can eventually become me, and I can give them my job, right?
Hey, I'm seeing other people feel the same way.
And so, addressing those in a process-oriented way is best for me because I cannot sit down and just micromanage someone through legal research. That's ridiculous.
Right.
Right. So, I already have documentation on how to do the legal research, and part of an associate's first thing they do is they read the documentation, right? But I'm still having problems. So, maybe a video to go with that documentation might be good, and a quiz about that documentation, and then maybe do a test memo. That sounds like great. Mentorship from a more senior attorney to walk them through how to do the stuff. And then, the thing that I'm good at, which is I yell at people about the legal research, right? That's really good. And then keeping a library of good memos. We started doing that. I could tear their bad memo up and throw it in the trash and then make them start it again. I've done that before. It's not super fun though. And then, and then last it's go to HR related PIPs and firings if they can't get it right.
We really escalated there in
Yeah.
terms of
Wow.
ways of
We're-
supporting the learning to you're not a right fit.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You can only take it so far, right?
Yeah, all right. Round of applause for that.
Thank you.
All right, does someone have one last maybe short idea or short lesson that they want to share with the large group? If not, no worries, but just want to give someone an opportunity if there's anything else. Nope? All right. Well, that brings us to the end of our time together. We hope you had some fun. I know that was uncomfortable. Hopefully it was some healthy discomfort. And we hope you learned a little bit something new today. And yeah, we just thank you for getting out of your comfort zones. And more importantly, we want to thank you for being our customers, because without you, there wouldn't be a Clio. If you have time, Stevie and I are in the product lab for the rest of the day. Come visit if you want. There is actually a gigantic customer journey there where you can actually apply your own challenges, success criteria, and new ideas. So come visit us, come hang out. And if there are any ideas that you want to share with us, come find us after the session, and we'd be happy to take those ideas back with us to the product team.
If you want that Clio work tour, come see me. And if you have ideas and you're like, oh my God, I had a stroke of genius here and Clio needs to do this and it will make my life better, then also come
Yeah.
talk to us.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone.